Okay, my friends, I got some, well, I don't know. I consider it good news. You might not. You might think I'm over the line. Okay, wouldn't be the first time. Item from Reuters, Dateline, Mexico City. A Mexican asylum seeker slit his own throat on a bridge across the Rio Grande after being denied entry into the United States, two Mexican security officials said on Wednesday. The man who has not been identified tried to enter the United States at the FAR Reynosa International Bridge between the Mexico border city of Reynosa and FAR, Texas. The officials, who were not authorized to speak publicly, said around 5 p.m. local time the man drew a knife and cut his throat when denied access to the United States. Both officials said the man was seeking asylum. Quote, "He committed suicide," one of the officials said. The man killed himself on the Mexican side of the bridge, just meters away from the international dividing line, the other source said, unquote. Folks, I was going to come on and be glib about the fact that this guy was a law-abiding fellow who didn't want to break our laws, but, at a certain point, you simply got to be a human being. I lament the terrible and tragic loss of this human life. And it is sad beyond my telling you, that this fellow's life in Mexico was apparently so awful. He felt the need to escape from the country, and when he found out he couldn't, he ended his own life. I don't understand, and if you do understand, please call me during the next hour and tell me. 877-254-7524. 877-254-7524. Why is it that Mexico, right next door, the next door neighbor of the richest country in the world, why is it that Mexico, for more than 2 centuries, has remained largely, basically a toilet? Why can't they make their country operate properly? You would think, being closer to the United States, being a great intimate trading partner of the United States, being able to benefit from having the U.S. right next door, you would think that they would be awash in money, in civilization, in all the good things in the world. They would simply bask in our glow, and for some reason, Mexico continues to suck. If you know why, please tell me. Call me. Tell me. It's a call-in show. I'd like to know. Item from Breitbart. A federal appeals court has released $3.6 billion in border wall funding on Wednesday that had been blocked by a lawsuit. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans lifted the curbs while the Department of Justice prepares to appeal the lower judge's decision to block the spending because of the lawsuit. Unquote. My friends, people who want to see Americans raped and murdered, they're trying to block the border wall from being built. Whether they actually want to see Americans killed or whether they simply don't care if Americans are killed doesn't matter to me. The number one job of any government is to protect the safety of its citizens. A government that can't do that is not a legitimate government. Donald Trump is doing everything he can, moving heaven and earth to do it, and so I wish Ann Coulter would get off his back. But if $3.6 billion in border wall funding has been released, that is a fantastically good thing for this country. And you know what? It's probably a good thing for Mexico too, although they would never admit it. Item from InfoWars. Time magazine offered a handy guide on how parents can brainwash their kids on Iran by disputing the fact that Qasem Soleimani was a terrorist. The guide, entitled How to Talk to Your Kids About the Situation with Iran, promises to, quote, arm you with the information you need if you choose to bring up the topic or if kids ask questions about it, unquote. That information consists of watering down the fact that Soleimani had overseen atrocities that led to the deaths of thousands of Iraqi and Syrian citizens, as well as the slaughter of over 600 U.S. troops, unquote. Folks, I apologize. Many times when I go over the fake news, lying, dishonest, propagandist media, a lot of times I leave Time magazine off the list, and that's a bad thing. Time magazine is certainly an asswipe. It's not news anymore. It's propaganda. It's spin. It's the left wing's agenda. So if you own a bird, and if the bird is in a cage, you can buy Time magazine and line the cage, I guess. It's fit for that. Same for Newsweek. Same for a lot of periodicals, as a matter of fact. And I'm someone who's been writing for periodicals for decades. But Newsweek, Time, they're both the same. They're trash. And if they're trying to present this murderer and terrorist as anything other than a murderer or terrorist, I would say they're guilty of a crime against the American people. Item from Breitbart. Republican legislators in 5 states are drafting legislation to prevent men and women in high schools from participating in sports based on gender identity rather than their biological sex. Lawmakers specifically said they want to protect women from facing unfair competition from men who claim to be transgender women, unquote. These young men who are masquerading as women, they need psychological counseling, they need psychiatry, they probably need chemical therapy. They're not well. They are delusional, and I've read to you testimony from a couple of the leading experts in this country saying that, yes, what these people are is delusional. They imagine themselves to be something they're not. These people need help. The last thing they need is empowerment, is slaps on the back and congratulations for being brave. They're not brave. Their minds are malfunctioning. And shame on the educational systems for catering to that. Item from the Daily Wire on Thursday morning, that's today. President Donald Trump said far-left climate alarmist Greta Thunberg should, quote, work on her anger management problem and chill, unquote. I'm sorry, that was last Thursday. So ridiculous, Trump posted on Twitter, reacting to Time magazine. There's Time again, naming Thunberg Person of the Year. Quote, Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend, the president suggested. Chill, Greta, chill. Greta Thunberg has had her mind worked on by people with an agenda. This is a girl, and here's a prediction in the years to come when she gets out from under this mind control. Basically, that's what it is. She's going to recant what she said and apologize for being such an idiot. I will accept her apology. It's Thursday. It's Real Truth. My friends, go nowhere.